So this is the self-development with tactics book.
I believe in you. I deeply believe in you that you can do everything that you want to do. Like your dreams, and you can achieve every goal you have. You just have to work on it, and you just have to believe that you can as well, or maybe you just only believe in the belief that I believe in you. There's also an option. And with this being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm happy to be here. Because I'm just happy. Because I know somehow that I can impact a lot of people. Eventually, it always depends on how big this is gonna get, but I have the opportunity and I do have the possibility to do that, and so I'm trying to go for it, because why actually not? And as you can see, I actually shaved my fucking hair, or actually cut my fucking hair, didn't shave them, and yeah, new style, same me, same microphone and same text, because we're actually going through 12 Rules of Life by Jordan B Peterson again, which isn't bad that we're going through this one again. It is great. It's quite a great one at my point of view. It's really great, with a lot of great insights and I think a lot of great knowledge, I would say, and a lot of things I didn't know, which is always something pretty great. And I really do not want to say that I know just everything from every fucking book. I don't, but I still know a lot of shit by the time, because I've been going through just a lot of fucking shit. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start just ahead, because to just not lose any fucking time. So the important part is that there is I really suggested to go through especially the second episode, so the episode before this episode, because this is just somehow quite the second part of the first rule, because last time we were only just going through the first rule, because it's extremely long and extremely detailed, and this is going to just be the kind of second part, or the part that's going on with the first rule. So I would totally suggest you to go to the first one. The important part is that there is a primordial calculator in your brain that monitors signals to figure out your position in society. It recognizes behavior from others, sometimes triggered by your own behavior, and infers your social standing. It then adjusts your perceptions, values, emotions, and actions. And it would really make sense that it actually just somehow controls or changes your emotions, because I do think that, if somebody's just mean to you, and if a lot of people are just mean to you, the normal person, quote unquote normal person, is just gonna feel bad, The not normal person, quote unquote normal person again, I think it's gonna think like, okay, yeah, those people just fucked up and I'm not going to do something with them. But that's another story. But it just would make sense for me, as the core of this somehow statement, or of this knowledge, if you will. So the responsible part of the brain is the medial prefrontal cortex, which actually seems to be, so the cortex actually seems to be the main, somehow, I guess. I'm only guessing, I don't really know. It seems to be just the main part of the brain, if I'm just thinking right, because the cortex just plays such a big role in such a lot of things, whether it be sleep, besides the amygdala, I think it's called, then here, then I guess, like emotions and actions and, whatsoever. I guess the cortex and also the prefrontal cortex just play a pretty big role. So if others know noto, it's again the fucking word, the koto, I think it's Kowtow. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm now saying koto. To you, this feeds this part of your brain, elevating your internal perceptions of social status. If others denigrate and belittle you, you interpret this as low social status. Keeping an alpha male monkey in front of a of a one-way mirror where he can't see the submissive behavior of other males lowers his serotonin. So keeping an alpha male monkey in front of a one-way mirror where he can't see the submissive behavior of other males lowers his serotonins. Which basically for me just means, okay, if he doesn't see other people just acting like being lower in terms of the position than him, he's feeling just lower as well, because there's nothing to just somehow compare himself to. Does that make sense? Is it even just normal for people? Because, if monkeys are doing it, chances are pretty high that we are doing it as well. And I guess we do. So does this also mean that we are somehow just, really comparing us to other people just by nature? Could this be a point? Because I think we actually do, because it's such a big topic that we, a lot of people say you shouldn't just compare yourself to others, which is completely true, because you will never see what they have done to actually get to this point. If you're thinking like, okay, this person is so much better at doing whatever, and you just clearly don't know what they did. Maybe they were working on this certain skill for the last 10 years. Maybe they weren't, and maybe they're just talented. You don't know. Unless, you're their best friend or, whatsoever. But I'm just not just taking this as an option. But yeah, I'm just going to get my light and then I'm going to keep recording. Just really, 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 really fast. The problem there might be that, it's fucking bright. It's not that great. The other light as well. But yeah, you see me a little bit better at least. Isn't there anything I can put above it? Would be great. I'm sorry for doing this right now. I could have done it earlier, but I just saw right now that the light, or in terms of the light, the video isn't doing that well, or at least not as well as I wanted to do. No, that's clearly not working. But I know something different. Which is some sort of a cup. And this cup, gonna let it bounce off a little bit. So that is just, it's clearly making me a little bit brighter. So yeah, let's go on with the episode. And I hope the light is great. I hope it's not somehow bad or even worse than just before. But I don't think so. So it's clearly better. Yeah, it's clearly better, at least for me. So important connections with mental illness, anxiety. Lower status people really live in greater threat, having fewer resources available to deal with problems and emergencies. This restricts serotonin secretion, which increases stress levels, makes you more impulsive and reactive to situations. You must be ready to survive. And this is clearly just, the thing the brain should be doing. The brain isn't there to make you happy. It really isn't. It's not there, or it's not its task, or it's not what it should be doing. It should let you survive. And this is the only thing that it should be do. That's really the only thing. You should only survive. And it should make you happy. So unless you're surviving, or you just have to survive. You just have to survive, and everything else doesn't quite matter. And this is quite, I think, it's from Tony Robbins. It's from Tony Robbins. And he then says, okay, this is the reason why you have to create the framework for your brain. You have to create the whole structure for your brain to actually be happy. Because you're happy isn't, the thing that's going to make you happy. It just lets you survive. And that's the only thing. You just have to create the framework for your brain to be happy. Whether it's just, consciously just managing the people that are around you, or consciously just doing things you like to do, or consciously whatsoever. You have the, you should be doing that. You jump at more short-term opportunities that appear, not able to put them off for long-term rewards. I also wonder if people with lower social status are more desperate to signal a higher level, but in an unprofitable way. For example, buying expensive handbags. In this state of anxiety, it would be difficult to focus on the long-term solution, which might be education. Depression. Why we get sick hypothesis, which seems to be a book as well, so Why We Get Sick, which is, I think, also a great book, and it is also available as a summary on the alanchang.com website, which is basically the exact same website we are on right now. And it's a great website. I deeply love it because it is so detailed. It's so fucking detailed. Every single summary there is on this this website is just so detailed, and I really feel like that you do not have to just read the book. It feels for me more like, you just don't have to read the book to actually get all the information, or at least the most important information of this book. But yeah, you can't compare it. You can't compare like 1,000 words to 3,000 words. There might be a lot of fluff, totally. There totally might be a lot of fluff, but yeah, I do not really want to say that the whole book is fluff, or just a third of the book is fluff. But I don't know, I really don't know, but it's definitely something, or somehow a quite different experience when you're reading the book than when you're just maybe listening to me or reading this, what I'm just reading right now on your own. It's completely another experience. It completely is. And it's also the same thing with an audiobook. The audiobook is definitely something different than just quite my audio version, if you just want to call it like this. But yeah, so I don't know, I don't know what's, or what could be better for you, if it is really just this summary, or if it is really just reading the whole book. It could be just yeah, it could be this or that or these or those, or I don't know. But I think I just have to go through Why We Get Sick. And there's also another book about health and whatsoever, and I'm quite hoping that I just can get some valuable information about actually staying healthier and just knowing what's going on with me, which is, I guess, very important, to actually just understanding and first of all recognizing that there's something going on with you, and actually just finding a way on how you can solve this problem for you. I guess a lot of people do just have health problems. This is just the unfortunate truth that people just eat shit, people don't exercise, people don't do just the really, really simple, not easy. I always just like to underline these things. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy. It's not easy working out more than, one time a week. It is not. But it's simple. Everybody could do it, but not everybody does it. And this is then the point. And it's also the same thing with healthy eating. Everybody could do it. It's very simple, but it's not easy. It just takes some effort, and it just takes some discipline, and maybe also some willpower if you're just really attached to eating, but everybody could do it. So the Why We Sick hypothesis that mass media is a novel environmental trigger that makes you compare to the best of millions of billions of other people. On this unprecedented I'm very sorry. Is it precedent? I'm just going to spell it. UNPREZEDENTED. World stage, you're not particularly good at anything. Even worse, social media makes you compare to the highlight reel like REEL, of people that you know that you know personally. In the past, being in a small tribe, you might compare you to only 100 people, which is totally fucked up as well. But it seems to be better than just, comparing yourself to the really, really highest people on the fucking planet. You might be a decent hunter and get pride from that, but then others upstage you. Depression serves a function to pause your activity and re-evaluate, so you might realize you're better at harvesting berries instead, which totally is the truth. It is totally the truth. And it makes sense, all the things we're having, all the things that's going on with your body and my body and your mind, whatsoever, whatever it be in nature, whatever it be in your fucking life, it just has a meaning and it just has a purpose. Whether it be crying. I don't know the purpose of crying, but there is definitely a purpose of crying and feeling bad. Maybe it's just, the way of your body to showing you, okay, something isn't right. You should be doing something about something. Depression. It seems to be depression is the way your body shows you, okay, maybe you should be doing something different. Maybe, maybe you're just not the best at it. Maybe you can't survive through doing what you're doing because others are clearly doing it better than you. Happiness, I guess, is also something. Maybe it just shows you, okay, you're doing the right thing. You're doing just, I don't know, you're the best at something. I don't fucking know, but it clearly shows you something as well. And it is just somehow something that I quite realized right now, that everything that's going on with your fucking body is just something that just is important. Somehow. In some aspect of life. And yeah. This is just my little speech. Nowadays, it is hard to be demonstrably good at anything, and you may not receive the subordinate signals from anyone else. Thus, one might get locked in depression. In this novel environment, the people who can escape the depressive atmosphere are at a relative fitness advantage, even fixing ability, and their traits will be selected for. Interestingly, the modern world may also provide greater dominant signals than ever before. For example, 1 million followers, but this might be counterforced by relative positioning in the ecosystem. For example, Becky has 2 million. Yeah, totally is. There are number ones. And you might also be a number one. I just wish you be the number one because I guess it feels great. But I don't know. I'm quite thinking about if it is actually great to be the number one. All the eyes are at you quite, which is nothing, I think, bad for me at least. I haven't just kind of had this kind of feeling. I have never been just so famous and whatsoever that everybody's looking at me, but I kind of feel like, some people will just be able to handle it and some people just won't be able to handle it. But also, isn't it like, there's no one to beat somehow? Or do you just get a pleasure of just seeing, okay, you are the best and all the other people are quite just, way beneath you somehow, whether it be your follower count, whether it be, your fitness and you have won a lot of prizes. I don't know, but but at least you can always target yourself. You can also be your enemy, quite just saying like, you just want to be better than you were yesterday, which is, I think, nothing wrong. And which is, I guess, something, and if I'm remembering correctly, this was something that I was listening to the last weekend. I think it was the last weekend. And it was interesting because I deeply love listening to motivational speeches, whether it be from Gary Vaynerchuk, whether it be from Les Brown, whether it be from Will Smith or The Rock. I just love them all because they're so inspiring. And everybody can do this. It might not be just for everybody. It might not inspire everybody, but it is a great way to be inspired and motivated to just take your leap and just try it out and just give your best. And The Rock said, he himself is his own enemy or his own opponent because he's always trying to be better than he was a year ago, a week ago, and whatsoever. There might be setbacks, totally. You might not be just having the greatest set in the gym, then, I don't know, forever. You might have had a better one before, but I don't know. You can always just go for being the best somehow. Those are more vulnerable positions. Chronically deprived of pleasure may also be more susceptible to drugs and alcohol. I think the people actually who are feeling bad and who are not just quite somehow feeling great in their skin, maybe, that chances are way higher that they're actually just taking drugs and drinking alcohol. Even though I don't understand, I do just have to say, okay, alcohol is also a drug. So why do people always say like drugs and alcohol? But because it's quite the same. But yeah, shouldn't complain about that. There is totally something more debatable than that. There is indeed great comorbidity between anxiety and depression. What is a comorbidity? Comorbidity, which means relation to or denoting a medical condition that co-occurs with another. So the comorbidity between anxiety and depression, they could have the same root because, or the root cause, law inferred social status. In 12 Rules of Life, Peterson suggests that some behavior can solve anxiety and depression. Regularity of sleep and proper circadian rhythm can correct negative emotion. Yeah, I guess so. I do also feel that if I'm just, not sleeping, not at all, but if I'm sleeping just very, very less, I do really feel that my temper is just, I'm way more explosive than I'm just used to be. In general, I'm pretty aggressive. I do just have to admit, I'm very fucking aggressive. I don't know why. Actually, the last episode we found out maybe a cause of why I might be somehow aggressive. So go check out the other episode if you want to know this. But I don't know. Sleep is definitely something that can just create a better framework for yourself. And I would totally suggest you to go through Why We Sleep, which is actually a summary of a quite great book on this website as well. And I also just did a few episodes on it, so I went through the whole summary. And if you want to check it out, there are several episodes, either on my YouTube and or on the podcast as well, which is great. It was a great book. And actually yesterday I was listening to a Tim Ferriss podcast, which was something I haven't before, to be honest. I was only just listening to the Gary Vee audio experience because I don't know, because I just, was maybe used to it and I just enjoyed it. And I was thinking like, I don't want to try something else, but then I just thought like, why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I just take the leap or take the opportunity to, just go through something else, once somehow. And I enjoyed it, and it was a great interview. It maybe was 353, something like this. 3. I always say 3. I'm rolling the R. I don't know why. But yeah, she also said, so he was interviewing a girl or a woman. She's 42, I guess, by now. And they were also talking about why we sleep. And she actually bought, I think, a few, like, maybe it was even 100 books, or 100, just copies. Yeah, it is copies. Copies of Why We Sleep, because she enjoyed it so much. And this was something great to see, okay, that, because I know what's going on in this book. Maybe it's just because I'm an insider and I know what's going on there, that I can say, okay, I can relate to that. I can say also, okay, it was a great book. It really was. And because she said it is really, really also just confirmed that, all the informations are given. They are somehow confirmed by another person who is very, very, it's not critical in English, but it's, you know what I mean, that he doesn't believe anything, he's just reading. And he also said, or there's also some testimonial of him in the book or something like this. I don't know what it's called, but there's something of him in this book that just says, okay, the informations given in this book are actually just right, or chances are very, very great, high or very high that they are right. So yeah, it is a great book. So eat a fat, protein heavy breakfast. Anxious, which is also a point, I guess, for just, solving anxiety and depression. So eat a fat and protein heavy breakfast. Anxious and depressed people hyper-secrete insulin in response to carbs, which will cause hypoglycemia and cause psychological instability. Fuck, not because I'm doing it and I'm feeling the just anxiety, but I don't know, it just seems to be so from another planet for me. And it seems to be so unfucking know. It really just seems for me to be from fucking Mars or something. I've just never thought about actually, I don't know. So positive feedback loops can exist here. One infers low social status from the environment, perhaps through bullying or controlling parents. This attracts negative attention from others, who treat them as subordinates, with which further reinforces self-perception of low status. It also promotes stress, which is psychologically costly and can cause impulsive short-term decisions. It also encourages behavior that entrenches the low status, like refusing to ask for promotions, which continues to reinforce low social status. So it seems to be just, as they also say, it's a loop. It's a loop of always getting worse and worse and worse and worse and fucking worse, which is totally fucked up. And maybe there is somebody who is just going through the summary and who is just listening to me, who is just understanding now, okay, there is actually a loop and I just have to get out of it somehow, And I guess if you just know that there is a loop and that okay, these are the reasons for the loop, or this could be the loop. So just describing the loop, I guess this is one of the first steps for people actually to being able to just change it up. Thus, Peterson suggests that you need to signal your higher social status through external body language, first of all, but also internally in your self-beliefs. People will then treat you as competent and able, which will kick off a virtuous cycle. Some experimental evidence suggests that alternations in body language can change mental perception. Smiling makes you happier, adopting power poses can make you feel more confident. The evidence here is shaky, CF, whatever CF means, power posing, Amy Cuddy. It is basically, I don't know, it is very hard for me to believe as well. The thing is, we've also seen with the lobsters that, somehow the emotion or motion creates the emotion. And this is just the real exact same thing as Tony Robbins is always talking about. Motion creates emotion. And Harvard also seems to be, they validated it somehow through these power poses, which are like this, your hands on your hips, and the catapult with your hands behind your head, on your and the back of your head. And these are power poses, and it really seems to be that they're actually changing how you're feeling. It could be the case. I don't fucking know. But I somehow feel like it as well. I don't know. It's just somehow, okay, if I'm sitting like this and I'm just way broader and I'm also just creating a triangle somehow, I don't know, maybe it's just because I know it should be making me feel better, that it's actually making me feel better. So, but yeah. Thus rule 1, stand up straight with your shoulders back, but also speak your mind, put your desires forward and dare to be dangerous. This is the beginning of developing self-respect, accepting the demands of life, occupying your territory and standing up to tyranny and oppression. This is a variant of fake it till you make it. It also cooperates the less fundamentally useful mating rituals of signaling status through expensive possessions and embellishing accomplishments. I quite don't agree, I just have to say, because it seems less fundamentally useful, because it also seems to be like, okay, you're just, doing like, okay, you're processing something, something expensive, something materialistic expensive, and therefore just feeling great because of it. I can somehow relate to this. I really can, but I'm not quite sure. I'm really not, because I think like it could make sense, and Harvard somehow validated it. So I don't know. It's very complicated. Strength of character and capacity for destruction are the same. The ability to respond with aggression and violence decreases the probability that actual aggression will become necessary. Peterson notes that PTSD in war comes not from horrific things happening to them, but as a result of witnessing their own violent behavior. This never saw the capacity for oppression and bullying, and now see history's terrible perpetrators. Doesn't this ignore the problem that there is such a thing as real ability, and that one's low social status might be warranted? Peterson acknowledges this, but suggests that there are people who prey on those who behave submissively, which could cause perception of low status. Then you really deserve and make it hard to crawl out of your vicious cycle. Instead, if you kick off the change by appearing confident, people will treat you as though you have value. You get positive responses, and this makes you less anxious, which makes you better at conversation and social interaction. As you enjoy things more, you will seek it out more, and so forth. So you basically somehow are creating this good and positive cycle of being positive and of value and just high in status. But yeah, this is the end with the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think there was just a lot of value in this episode. I really just think that, and yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. I'm not going to eat something. And yeah, just still remember how you're going to be remembered. And maybe you can do this by just giving something back to the people or to the world. Whether they have given you something or not, doesn't matter. And with this being said, I'll see you the next time.